Enhanced security measures were put in place at Nakawa Chief Magistrates Court when the four murder suspects of senior prosecutor Joan Kagezi were scheduled to appear in court. At 10:30 a.m., the accused, Masajage John, Chibuka John, Dan Kiseka and Nasul Abdara, stood before Chief Magistrate Elias Kakoza.
Okay, count number 1 is terrorism according to section 7, 1A and 2B of the Terrorism Act of 2002.
Emisango egy'abavunaanibwa kuliko ogusooka ogwa obutujju nga mmenya etteeka namba 7 akawaayiro akasooka A ne 2 B mu mateeka ag'obutujju.
The particular offences are that Kiseka Daniel, Chibuka John, also known as Musa Masajage John, also known as Mubiru Brian, also known as Badru, also known as Chongo Nasul Abdara Mugo Nole, and others still at large on the 30th of March 2015 at Chiwatule, Nakawa Division, Kampala District, for purposes of influencing the government or intimidating the public or a section of the public, and for the political, religious, social, or economic aim, indiscriminately without due regard to the safety of others or property, directly involved themselves or were implicit in the attack on and murder of the Assistant Director of Public Prosecution, Joan Kagezi, a person in public institution.
Kigambibwa nti Kiseka Daniel Chiwanuka, Chibuka John, olumu yeyita Musa, Masajage John, era olumu yeyita Mubiru Brian, ne Badru, Chongo, Nasul Abdul Mugonole, n'abalala abakyanoonyezebwa nti ennaku z'omwezi 3 omwezi ogwokusatu omwaka 2025 nga muli Chiwatule Nakawa Division mu Kampala District nga mulina ebigendererwa ebyokuvuunika gavumenti oba okutiisatiisa abantu n'ebigendererwa ebyeddiini ebyenfuna mwenyigira mu butemu era ne mulumbagana ne mutta Assistant Director of Public Prosecution Joan Kagezi, omuntu eyali mu office eya gavumenti.
Count 2 is murder, contrary section 188 and 189 of the Penal Code Act.
Omusango gw'okubiri gwa kutta nga mmenya etteeka 188 ne 189.
The particulars of offense are that Kiseka Daniel, Chibuka John, also known as Musa Masajage John, also known as Mubiru Brian, also known as Badru, also known as Chongo, Nasul Abdallah Mugonole, and others still at large on the 30th day of March 2015 at Chiwatule Nakawa Division, Kampala District, with malice aforethought unlawfully caused death of Assistant Director of Public Prosecution Joan Kagezi.
Nti Kiseka Daniel Chiwanuka, Chibuka John, olumu yeyita Musa Masajage John, era olumu yeyita Mubiru Badru, olumu yeyita Mubiru Brian, olumu Badru, n'abalala bakyanoonyezebwa ng'ennaku z'omwezi 3 omwezi ogwokusatu omwaka 2015 nga muli Chiwatule mu Nakawa Division, Kampala District, nga mukozesa ettima mwatta Assistant Director of Public Prosecution Joan Kagezi n'amazzi.
The summary of evidence. The Director of Public Prosecution shall at the trial adduce evidence to prove the following facts.
Nti omuwabi wa gavumenti
30th of March 2015 at Chiwatule Nakawa Division, Kampala District, between 7 p.m. and 8 p.m., Assistant Director of Public Prosecution Kagezi was shot dead by 2 unknown assailants who were traveling on a motorcycle.
Nti ng'ennaku z'omwezi 3 omwezi ogwokusatu omwaka 2015 nga Chiwatule mu Nakawa Division mu Kampala District wakati w'essaawa emu ez'akawungeezi n'essaawa 2 Assistant Director of Public Prosecution Joan Namazzi Kagezi yakubibwa amasasi abatemu abaali tebategeerekese abaali batambulira ku pikipiki.
The deceased was in a double cabin pickup with registration number UG 0586J with 3 of her children and had parked at a roadside store to buy fruits on her way home.
Nti omugenzi yali atambulira mu mmotoka y'ekika kya double cabin pickup number UG 0586J ng'alinamu abaana be basatu era emmotoka yali epaakinze ku luguudo ku kadaala ng'agula bibala.
The two assailants on a motorcycle closely followed her vehicle and parked near her motor vehicle. One of the assailants, who was a passenger on the motorcycle, wearing a black jacket, jumped off the motorcycle, pulled out a gun which had been concealed within his jacket, and shot the deceased twice on her neck through the car window, shattering the window glass and fatally injuring the deceased. A postmortem examination was carried out and the bullet head was retrieved from her body. The postmortem report revealed that Joan Kagezi died from gunshot wounds sustained on her neck. The body was later handed over to the relatives for burial, and she was buried on the 2nd April 2015 at Bukasa village, Buloba in Wakiso district.
Abasawo bwe baakebera oba bwe baakola postmortem ne bazuula nti essasi ne bajja essasi mu mubiri gwe, era ripooti yalaga nti Joan Kagezi ekyamuviiriddeko okufa gaali masasi agaamukubibwa mu bulago. Oluvannyuma omulambo gwaweebwa ab'eŋŋanda ze ne gutwalibwa okuziikibwa ng'ennaku z'omwezi 2 Ogwokuna omwaka 2015 e Bukesa, ekisangibwa e Bukesa mu Buloba mu Wakiso district.
And officers from the Department of Forensic Services and other security officers visited the scene of crime and cordoned it off. Recovered 2 bullets, cartridges, motor vehicle registration number UG 0586J, pickup double cabin, blood swabs, drew a sketch map, made a scene of crime report, and evidence recovered log. The items recovered were exhibited at the police station. The motor vehicle, the cartridges, bullet cases, bullet head, and blood swab were forwarded for forensic examination and analysis. The reports were made and shall be exhibited.
Nti amangu ddala ebitongole bya poliisi ebyenjawulo okuli ekyabambega, abakugu mu scene of crime, aba forensic n'ebitongole ebirala mu poliisi bagenda ku kifo ewali wakoleddwa obutemu ne bakisalako ne bakyebungululako, era ne bazuula ebisosonkole by'amasasi, ne bazuula emmotoka namba UG 050865 pickup double cabin. Omusaayi ogwaliwo nagwo baagufuna ogwasangibwa mu kifo, baakuba ne maapu baabitwala ew'omukugu, ate era ebyo bijja kukozesebwa ng'obujulizi oba ng'ekizibiti.
Since investigations were concluded, the court proceeded to read the indictment to the accused. According to the indictment, the prosecution relied on 22 exhibits during the trial, including photos, phone recordings, mobile phone clusters, call data records, and details about the motorcycles used by the accused.
That immediately following the murder of Joan Kagezi, investigators had obtained and preserved mobile network clusters for all active MTN and Airtel telephone numbers which were within the vicinity of the scene of crime shortly before and at the time Joan Kagezi was murdered. Following the arrest of all the accused persons, their known telephone numbers were analyzed together with the previous obtained and preserved clusters. A report was made and exhibited. The report shows that mobile telephone number 0753873333 belonged to accused number 3 Masajage John, and mobile telephone number 0705630083 belonging to accused number 2 Chibuka Joan were located within Chiwatule between 7 p.m. and 7:30 p.m. on the 30th day of March 2015. The mobile network cluster and the technical report would be used as evidence at the trial.
Nti oluvanyuma lw'okuttibwa kwa Joan nga attiddwa nga kwakabaawo ennamba z'amasimu ez'enjawulo nga zimanyikiddwa nti zammwe zaazuulibwa era mu kunoonyereza okwakolebwa abaalaba nga ennamba z'amasimu abaali bamanyi ennamba z'amasimu zino nti zaali zammwe zaagobererwa era ne zizuulibwa nti ennamba 0753873888 yali ya Masajjage John, ate nga ennamba endala eya 0750030083 yali ya Mwabiri w'okubiri Kibuuka John, zaazuulibwa era nga zaakubibwako nga ziri mu kifo ky'ekiwaatule ku ssaawa wakati w'essaawa emu ey'akawungeezi n'essaawa emu n'ekitundu ennaku z'omwezi 3 omwezi ogwokusatu omwaka 2015. Obujulizi obwo bujja kuleetebwa mu kkooti era bwesigamizibweko nga babawozesa.
Were made. The reports will be used as evidence at the trial. 25.
Nti abanoonyereza ku musango guno baddamu ne bakkaanya era ne bakola report ejja okubayambako era ejja kwesigamizibwako ng'obujulizi.
The accused persons were each examined on police form 24, and all of them were found to have a normal mental status. Accused number 3 was found to have only one eye, right eye, he having lost the left eye way back. Accused number 4 had 2 old scars on his left shoulder. The rest had no physical injuries or scars on their bodies.
Nti abavunaanibwa abawabirwa mwenna mwakeberebwa ku police form 24 era ne muzuulibwa nti mwenna mwali mutegeera bulungi, naye omwawabiri w'okusatu yasangibwa nga alina eriiso limu era yali yalifiirwa oba nga lyavaamu dda amabegako. Omwawabiri w'okuna yalina enkovu naye nga nkadde ziyiseeko ekiseera ku kibegabega. Abalala baali mu mbeera nnungi era nga tebalina bisago byonna ku mibiri gyabwe.
The prosecution shall among others rely on and tender the following documents and physical exhibits at the trial.
Nti omuwabi wa gavumenti ajja kwesigama ku bujulizi buno era ajja kuwaayo obujulizi buno nga bawulira omusango gwammwe oba nga babawozesa.
A postmortem report.
Mulimu postmortem report,
photographs,
ebifaananyi,
cartridges, that's bullet cases and shells,
ebisosonkole by'amasasi,
bullet head,
essasi,
crime scene investigation report,
gye baakola oba ku scene of crime,
sketch map,
mwalimu maapu eyakubibwa awaddizibwa omusango,
evidence recovery log,
mwalimu list y'obujulizi yonna,
evidence photographic logs,
ebifaananyi ebigenda okukozesebwa mu bujulizi,
motor vehicle inspection report,
report gye baakola ku motoka,
mobile network clusters and technical report,
amasimu n'okunoonyereza okwakolebwa ku masimu,
identification parade report,
report yakolebwa nga bakoze parade,
cybercrime reports and other forensic reports,
report ey'abakugu nayo ejja kukozesebwa,
exhibit slips,
mwalimu exhibit slips,
search certificates,
olupapula lwe bakozesa nga bakebera ennyumba, nga baaza ennyumba,
charge and caution statement of the accused,
statement zammwe ze mwakola nga mukkiriza emisango,
applications and court orders,
okusaba ne court orders ze bakozesa,
call and data printouts,
printouts z'amasimu ze baafuna,
police form 17A,
police forms ez'enjawulo okuli 17A,
police forms of 24,
24,
request letters for forensic analysis,
ebbaluwa eyasaba abakugu,
DNA analysis report,
ne reports eyakolebwa ku ndagabutonde,
mobile telephones.
ne amasimu.
The indictment further indicates that Chibuka John, positioned on Masajage John's border, shot Joan Kagezi twice in the neck at Chiwatule, leading to her death.
He was tracked and arrested in August 2023 from Wandegea, where he was doing business of border riding. He was questioned on the allegation of terrorism and murder of Joan Kagezi, and he denied any knowledge.
Nti mu mwezi ogw'omunaana omwaka 2023 poliisi yafuna amawulire agabatuusa ku wawe yali yeekukumye era yalondoolebwa n'akwatibwa mu mwezi gwa munaana 2023 mu kifo ky'Ewandegeya gye yali atandise okukola ka bizinesi aka boda. Yabuuzibwa ebibuuzo ebikwatagana n'obutujju oba okutta Joan Magezi era n'abyegaana.
Police investigations also established that accused number 2 and accused number 4, who were known associates of accused number 3, had been arrested, tried, convicted, and imprisoned for different crimes they committed after murder of Joan Kagezi, and were serving sentences in different prisons within the country by August 2023.
Nti poliisi yakola okunoonyereza era n'ekizuula nti omuwawaabirwa namba 2 ne namba 4 baali bakolagana wamu n'omuwawaabirwa namba 3 era baali bakwatibwa nga baavunaanibwa emisango egy'enjawulo era nga gyabasinga ne babasiba era nti nga bamaze okutta nga bamaze okutta omugenzi Joan Kagezi baali baasibibwa mu makomera ag'enjawulo naye mu ggwanga lino mu mwezi gwa 8 2023.
Investigations further revealed that accused number 1 had previously deserted the army and escaped with 2 guns and unspecified quantity of ammunition. He too had committed several armed robberies and murders jointly with accused number 1, accused number 3, and accused number 4. He was prosecuted, convicted, and imprisoned for those offenses and released. He relocated to Kayunga district and led discreet life after the murder of Joan Kagezi.
Nti okunoonyereza kwalaga nti omuwawaabirwa namba emu yali yadduka mu magye era nga yadduka n'emmundu n'amasasi agatamanyiddwa muwendo era nga gakozesebwanga mu kuzza emisango nga beegasse omuli omuwali obubbi n'okutta nga beegasse wamu n'omuwawaabirwa asooka, owookusatu n'owookuna. Yanoonyerezebwako era n'asingisibwa omusango ne bamuta n'agenda mu Kayunga mu disitulikiti y'e Kayunga gye yali yatandise obulamu obw'okwekweka ng'abeera mu bulamu obw'okwekweka bwe yali amaze okutta Kagezi.
2 and accused number 4 They were interviewed on the allegation of terrorism and the murder of Joan Kagezi, but they both denied the allegation against them.
Nga bamaze okukwata omwabirwa namba 3, namba 2 ne namba 4 bababuuza era kubikwatagana ku by'obutujju n'okutta Joan Kagezi naye ne babyegaana nti tebabimanyiiko.
In October 2023, accused number 1 and another were arrested by police in Ruwero in connection with the case of theft of property. While in custody, it was discovered that he was a person of interest who was wanted in connection to the murder of Joan Kagezi. He was transferred to Kampala for interviewing.
Nti ngena mu mwezi ogw'ekkumi omwaka 2023 omwabirwa namba 1 n'omulala bakwatibwa poliisi y'e Luweero nga balina ebyokwekuusa ku musango gw'okubba ekintu ne bateekebwa mu poliisi era oluvannyuma bakizuula nti omuntu omu ku bo yali yeetaagibwa ku bikwatagana ku by'okutta omugenzi Joan Kagezi era yaleetebwa e Kampala n'atandika okubuuzibwa kajjogijogi w'ebibuuzo.
During interview, accused number 1 confessed to have participated in the murder of Joan Kagezi together with accused number 2, accused number 3, and accused number 4. He narrated to investigators details of the plot regarding the murder of Joan Kagezi. He revealed that the deal to murder Joan Kagezi was brought to the group by accused number 2, Chibuka John, who also provided the 2 guns used and paid each of them 500,000 shillings as deposit or part payment to execute the murder. He informed investigators that accused number 2 shot and killed Joan Kagezi, while accused number 3, Masajage John, was the motorcycle rider that carried accused number 2 to commit the murder, and the 2 escaped on the same motorcycle after the murder.
He
further informed investigators that he himself, accused number 1 and accused number 4, were on another motorcycle with accused number 4 riding it to the scene. He, that's accused number 1, was armed with one of the 2 guns, and they were the backup team from accused number 2 and accused number 3 to clear the escape route after the murder of Joan Kagezi. He informed investigators that after the murder, he fired 1 shot in the air to clear the way, and both teams successfully escaped and returned to their rendezvous in Naveru. Thereafter, A2, A3, and A4 then proceeded to Namwaya Kajansi and committed another murder and armed robbery.
Nti era yagenda maaso n'agamba nti ye omwabirwa namba 1 ne namba 4 baali ku pikipiki ndala.
During his interview, accused number 1 further revealed to investigators that following the murder of Joan Kagezi, 3 of them, including accused number 2 Chibuka John, number 4 Nasul Abdallah Mugonole, and the accused number 1 himself, went to a witch doctor in Kayunga to perform some rituals on them to protect and prevent them from being arrested for the murder of Joan Kagezi. Accused number 1 secured the witch doctor, who was personally known to him, and led the other 2 there. Accused number 1 revealed the identity of the witch doctor to the investigators.
Bwe baali bamubuuza ebibuuzo, omwabirwa namba 1 yayasa ekyama n'agamba nti nga bamaze okutta Joan Kagezi bonna 3 nga kuliko omwabirwa namba 2 Chibuka John, omwabirwa namba 4 Nasul Abdallah Mugonole ne omwabirwa namba 1 bonna bagenda ew'omusawo w'ekinnansi asangibwa e Kayunga okukola emikolo egy'okusiba omusango era n'obutabakwata oluvannyuma lw'okutta Joan Kagezi. Era omwabirwa namba 1 ye yabafunira omusawo oyo gwe bagendako okukola emikolo.
It's also claimed that Chibuka John was the mastermind of the murder of Joan Kagezi. The court also heard that each of the accused received 500,000 Ugandan shillings for the murder, funds provided by Chibuka John from the Democratic Republic of Congo.
Police arrested accused number 2, Chibuka John, also known as Musa, from his residence at Nabweru South, Kawempe Division in Kampala District in connection with murder of the deceased and other crimes he had the suspect to have committed. During his arrest, accused number 2 revealed to the residents and eyewitnesses that she had participated in the murder of Joan Kagezi with accused number 3, Masajage John, also known as Mubiru Brian, also known as Badu, also known as Chongo, and others. He further revealed that the gun used were kept by A3, A2's house was searched, and several items including national identification cards were recovered.
Nti mu mwezi ogwokuna omwaka 2015 nga basinziira ku kunoonyereza ku bukesi obwakolebwa, omwawabirwa namba 2 Kibuuka John yakwatibwa okuva mu maka ge e Nabweru South Kawempe Division mu Kampala District ku byokwekuusa kukutta omugenzi n'emisango emirala egyali gimuteeberezebwa okubanga yagizza mu kumukwata, era omwawabirwa owokubiri yategeeza abatuuze nti yenyigira mu kutta Joan Kagezi ng'alina omwawabirwa namba 3 Masajjage John, olumu yeeyita Mubiru Brian, era olumu n'agamba nti emmundu eyakozesebwa yali eterekebwa wa mwawabirwa namba 3, omwawabirwa namba 2, era ennyumba bajaaza ne basangamu ebintu ebyenjawulo omwali ne national IDs.
Those who are present and heard accused number 2 disclosing this fact will be called to testify as witnesses at the trial. A certificate of search was made and the items recovered exhibited.
Nti era abo abaaliwo nga omwawabirwa owokubiri ayatula ekyama nti yenyigira mu kutta bajja kuleetebwa era bawe obujulizi obwo mu kuwulira omusango.
The room and lived nearby in the same area with accused number 2 escaped that same night to an unknown place and remained a fugitive, hiding from law enforcement detection for close to 8 years until his eventual arrest in 2023. Accused house 2 was searched and several items, including a bag with photograph of a lady who was a victim of another crime committed the same night after the murder of Joan Kagezi, a motorcycle which no one in the area, in the neighborhood, had seen him use or expected him to be having, a black jacket, a brown jacket, and a black helmet were recovered. A certificate of search was made and the recovered items exhibited.
Nti omwawabirwa namba 3 okunokkiriza ku myaka nga 8 paka lwe baabakwata mu mwaka gwa 2023. Ennyumba ya omwawabirwa namba 3 yayazibwa era ne basanga ebintu ebyenjawulo omwali ensawo nga yatuusiddwako obulabe mu kiro ekyo ekimu kye battiramu omugenzi Kagezi Joan, epikipiki naye nga tewaali yali amulaba ng'agikozesa, mwalimu jacket enzirugavu ne helmet byatwalibwa era bijja kukozesebwa ng'obujulizi.
And places boasted and revealed to his friends and the close associates that he participated in the murder of Joan Kagezi with the A1, with accused number 1, with accused number 2, and accused number 4. He informed them that the deal to murder Joan Kagezi involved a lot of money and was organized from DR Congo, and the guns used too were brought from DR Congo. He further revealed that he and his associates were paid a deposit to execute the murder and were demanding the balance. Accused number 3 complained that the deposit of the money he got was spent on witchdoctor to tie the case. Those that A3 revealed this information to will be called to testify as witnesses during the trial. Accused number 1, accused number 3, and accused number 4 all disappeared and were not traced or arrested immediately after committing the murder of Joan Kagezi. Their photographs as suspects in this case were published in different media outlets: New Vision, Bouquet newspaper, Newspaper paper, and television, seeking for any information that may lead to their arrest from the general public, but this did not yield any positive response. He abandoned his usual residences in Naweru and Kasangati and escaped to Kansasa, Buziri in Ruvuma Island, where he took refuge with a relative. When he realized that his host had known he was wanted in connection to the murder of Joan Kagezi, he again escaped from the island and continued living secretly in different places while doing different odd jobs, including shoe repairs and border riding. During this period, accused number 3 adopted a lifestyle of active disguise in order to evade detection. He changed his names to Mubiru Brian, was constantly wearing a riding helmet, dark eyeglasses, and heavy jackets.
Nti omwawabiri owokusatu yava mu maka bwe yategeerako nti owooluganda bwe yamanya nti bwe yakyaziza yali anoonyezebwa. Omwawabiri owokusatu yatandika obulamu obw'okwekweka n'akyusa n'amannya ne yeeyita mu biro.
According to the prosecution, all the 4 accused individuals actively participated in the murder of senior prosecutor Joan Kagezi, which occurred at Chiwatule Nakawa division in Kampala district.
The charge and caution statement where he revealed the details regarding his participation and that of accused number 2, accused number 3, and accused number 4 in the murder of Joan Kagezi. The charge and caution statement of accused number 1 shall be tendered in court as evidence and relied upon during the trial.
Nti omwawabirwa namba emu yagenda mu maaso n'akola statement eyali ekkiriza omusango era.
The witch doctor identified by accused number 1 was traced and was discovered that he was on remand in prison on suspicion of committing a criminal offense. He was interviewed regarding accused number 1's allegations. The witch doctor confirmed to the investigators that indeed he performed the rituals on accused number 1, 2, and 4 immediately after the murder of Joan Kagezi to protect them from being arrested for a big case that they had committed. The 3 paid for his services of performing the rituals and left his shrine. An identification parade was arranged, and the witch doctor later identified the 3, accused number 1, accused number 2, and accused number 4. And during the identification parade at police, they were identified by. Let me repeat that an identification parade was arranged, and the witch doctor identified the 3 accused. That's accused number 1, accused number 2, and accused number 3 during identification parades at the police. The relevant identification parade reports will be used as evidence at the trial. Officers who conducted the parades too will testify in court as witnesses.
Nti oluvannyuma baakola parade ey'oku era omusawo omuganda oyo n'asobola okulonkomamu abawawaabirwa bano abasatu okwali okuva ku balala okwali omuwawaabirwa asooka, owokubiri, owokusatu era n'abaawula ku bantu abalala abali ku parade. N'owokuna era parade
Basing on the presented evidence, Magistrate Elias Kakoza committed the 4 suspects to the International War Crimes Division Court for trial.
Prosecution contends that the accused persons murdered the deceased for purposes of influencing the government or intimidating the public or a section of the public, and for political, religious, and economic aims. During the commission of the murder, the accused persons acted indiscriminately without due regard to the safety of others or property.
Nti oludda oluwaabi lugamba nti mmwe abawaabi tiisatiisa nga temufudde ku bulamu bw'abantu ate n'ebyenfuna bya gavumenti nga nabyo temubifuddeeko, era bagamba nti nga mulina ekigendererwa kye kimu.
And whereupon conclusion shall contend that the accused person do not have any valid defenses to the indictment and that they should be convicted as indicted.
Oludda oluwaabi lujja kukakasa kkooti nti mmwe mwazza omusango era lujja kusaba kkooti ebasingise omusango gwe mwazza.
That is the indictment and some of the evidence. You've got your copies and we are hereby
okwakolebwa ate era n'okuwumbawumba oba obufunze omusango gwammwe era kkooti eno ebasindise mu kkooti y'abakalintalo
for trial.
Muwale nnembe n'emisango gye mwazza.
Joan Namazi Kagezi was brutally shot dead on 30th March 2015.